Hey, so let's talk just a minute here about those titles. You mentioned up all the tag titles that the Dudleys have, and that's one of the reasons I think most people would say, oh, yeah, you got to put them near the top of the list. Booker T, great close personal friend of the show.
Yep.
He's buddies with Bully. He's buddies with Devon, but he's recently spoken up and said those ECW titles don't count. Those
really?
Titles.
Booker said that.
Booker said they're regional titles. They're not titles. You can't count those. I know you're
fired. Shot fired.
Yes, indeed. Where do you land on that? Obviously, you're a guy who came through Global and you worked some of the more fringe stuff before you landed in the WWF.
Wait a minute, fringe stuff. You're agreeing with Booker now.
Well, no, hang on. I'm saying you traveled the roads and you saw what life was like outside of WWE. I think Booker is hanging his hat on the fact that most of his titles with his brother were in WCW, and that was obviously a national promotion. ECW did have a national promotion for a bit, but when they got national TV, that's actually when the Dudleys were heading to the WWF. Where do you land on that? Does an ECW title run before they had national TV count as a world title? I mean, I know it's silly. What are we even talking about? But I'm asking you to weigh in here. Are you with Bully or are you with Booker?
I guess you'd have to say also, does the ECW singles championship, does that count as a world title? So are they counting that as are they counting that as world titles?
Well, I think that's the question I think Booker is asserting that ECW was a regional promotion. And as much as a hardcore ECW fan as I am, I have to agree with him that technically until they got national TV, they probably were a regional promotion. I do know that they ran some other shows around the country, but they didn't have a national television program. So maybe that's the difference. But if we're really going to say that, I mean, once upon a time, the NWA didn't have any national television. So how do you differentiate? Do you consider the ECW title runs a regional title?
So now is Booker saying that because that means that he puts him and his brother over the Dudleys?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Outstanding. I love the math.
Yes.
I love how you can go through math and come up with what you want out of it. And Booker may be right. I would lean toward agreeing with Booker that it was more of a regional promotion. Once they become a national promotion, I think that's different. But yeah, I would lean more toward Booker that you had a lot of territories that had a lot of champions, and I don't know how you count all those. I mean, how do you count Ernie Ladd winning a championship somewhere? How do you count all these different guys who held numerous championships many, many times in smaller territories? How do you count that against the national and the global territories, which pretty much have just been WCW and WWE? I understand NWA at one time was certainly a global promotion, and it was. But, Al Perez would argue that he defended the WCCW title down in South Africa, so that makes that a global production. So I could see the arguments and why they are being made.
It is fun when you see two legends like this, and obviously they're pals. I mean, they're working that WWE LFG show together, but I just think it's funny and interesting that they're debating whether or not those are real titles.
Booker is so funny because he'll say stuff like that just to get at you, and he'll just let it ride. He's so good at banter, and so is Bubba. They're both pretty smart guys. I love them taking shots at each other like this.
Hey, you said pretty good at banter. I want to bring up one of my favorite things about the Dudley's presentation, especially when you had a chance to see him live, is Bubba's mic work. I mean, he would come out and just be ruthless with some of the people in the crowd. I mean, there's some famous stuff. Oh, there's a great shot if you're watching with us over on YouTube, where he's actually calling out a fan in the crowd. And man, he's I guess it might have been fair to say back then Bubba was a habitual line stepper. Maybe he took Cheap Heat all the way. What was the old Spinal Tap thing? He took it to 11. I mean, he's pointing out people in the crowd, John. I don't know if you saw this, but he'd say things like, we got a mother here in the front row who taught her daughter how to SD, and we got an ugly skankosaurus who's going to take Devon's 9 inches of blankety blank so far up her blank she won't even know what hit her. I mean, this is...
Wait a minute. Devon had 9 inches?
I mean, you were there. You know what? Let's just create a new one. John, we're live on YouTube. How big's Diva? Never mind.
Apparently, it's damn near a foot, according to Bubba.
Yeah, well, at least
I'm not going to call Bubba a liar. I don't know. They travel together and shower together, so I guess we'd know.
Is there such a thing as taking the cheap heat too far, John? Can you call out people in the crowd too much?
Oh, absolutely. Of course you can. Yeah, but the thing is, like, one of the best things to do in cutting a heel promo is call somebody out specifically in the crowd. Look at you, you fat ass. That people get mad about that. Yeah. When you start talking about a whole section like you people suck. That's one of the dumbest, most superficial things you can say. They're going to yell boo back at you. That's not real heat. That's just that's little puppets. You can yell something at them, they're going to yell back at you. That's pretty unintellectual banter. There's nothing smart about that. But when you start calling people out and calling them out for real things, like look at you in your little yellow shirt. You look like the number 2 ball on a pool table. And you start talking to people about what they are. Is the number 2 ball? That was a blue ball. One ball was the. I get confused. I got confused the other day when I was talking to Dave Silva about the number 5 ball, and I'm still having some recurring issues about that. So, but when you're calling people out and you're making fun of them specifically in a semi-intelligent way about look at you, and you start pointing out their shirt, you start pointing out their hat. Now people look at it and go, why are you picking on that person right there? That's bullshit. And you're calling them fat. I mean, the guy has a weight problem. And going, yeah, he has a weight problem. He's fat. He's obese. Now all of a sudden, I don't have a problem with that. To me, I think that's a good. Sorry to all you guys out there, you snowflakes out there, but sometimes that can be really good heat. Of course, you can go too far, but it can be really good heat.
Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next 2 house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to SaveWithConrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at SaveWithConrad.com. Shoot me an email at Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105 or get yourself a quick quote. Even talk to a live person right now at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at SaveWithConrad.com.